Hi, I'm Catherine,
And I'm Wayne.
and we are French living in our 70s. Today we're going to talk to you a little bit about getting a French driver's license. And we are speaking to you based on research that we've done, not based on experience, because we've only been here just over 2 months now, and our driver's license from the United States still works for the first year that you live in France. So, but we wanted to give you some information about what we've researched, mostly Wayne, he's done the research. And also to let you know that if you have decided to move to France, there's several states, about 18 states that have a reciprocal treaty, contract, whatever you want to call it, with France, that you don't need to take the driving tests. And we'll list all of those states in the description below so you can refer back to them. So anyway, take it away.
Okay, I have a lot of notes here, so I'm going to be glancing at them because there's so much information I don't want to miss anything. The whole idea of this is to give you a broad overview of what to be expected. There are going to be some nuances that are individually that you're going to have that may be a little different or totally different, but this at least gives you an idea of what you're can look for. Look forward to. So as Catherine says, you can drive with a valid, unexpired state driver's license without a French license. Even if you, if you're on a short term meaning you're on vacation, you've got less, like 90 days, you could be able to get on with the regular passport. And so you don't need a license, you can use your state license for that. Now, if you're going to be here for a year or more, then that changes the situation. It goes to when you establish residency here in France, 1 year from that date, you're required to have a French driver's license. You should be able, it's not required, but they say that you should have some kind of French translation of your driver's license. It's mostly just in case you have an accident or the policeman stops you for whatever reason. It's easier for them, a lot easier. They don't have to, be stressed about your speaking. It's already bad enough that we don't know enough French to be able to have a conversation. At least that's one less problem to have to deal with.
And again, that's not absolutely required, but it's a good idea to have that.
You can also obtain, instead of a translation, what's called a IDP, stands for International Driver's Permit. And you can obtain that, and then that can be your translation of your driver's license. You can get that in the States, you get it before you leave, and you go to AAA, or what's called also at an AATA, and you go into their office and you apply for the IDP, and it costs about $20 and per license, and all you need 2 passport photos and $20 and an application form, and you can be able to obtain that. Now, if you could also do all that online, but it's going to take longer, and it could take up several weeks before you actually get the license back. But if you go to AAA, you can get that license pretty quickly. I think the same day as you walk out, you'll be able to do it. But if you do it online, it could take longer. So I would say go to the office.
And again, that's only good for the first year. Again, you still are required to get the French driver's license at the end of the year.
Right. So it's a stopgap, and it just makes it easier for everybody involved. Now, if you're coming from the EU, you do not need to have a French driver's license if you have a valid, non-expired EU license. Even if you establish residency here because it's a union, that you're licensed to wherever country you originally come from, you are good to go. And they don't require you to have to have a French driver's license. Now, getting a driver's license is not difficult per se, but it is a challenge. Well, just to give you a perspective, if you're a first-time driver, say a teenager, or maybe you're an adult and you've never had a driver's license, but you figure, hey, I'm going to get a license here in France, you need to take a course in school, a driving school, at least 20 hours of driving experience under a driving instructor, licensed driving instructor. That'll also help you be able to take the written test, which is called the Code de la Route, and that could actually cost you, by the time you finish, up around 1,500 to 2,000 euros. That's a lot of money. I don't know how kids do it here.
I know,
That's
expensive.
just like ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, so there is that, just to give you an FYI. If you have a driving record and you've been driving for a million years, the school's not required, but just like everybody, just like a famous TV philosopher once said, everybody's got a big butt. But they help you. If you go to a school, they're going to help you prep for the written test. They're going to help you in the driving skills part, and that's a different whole subject in itself. The written test is in French. You can obtain it in English, but you got to find where a testing center will do that. Now, if you go to a driving school that does English, you've got that pretty much taken care of, because they'll talk to you in English, explain to you in French, and the road signs.
Explain to you in French? You mean explain to you in English?
Yeah, explain to you in English.
If they explain to you in French and you're just learning,
Yeah.
that's a problem.
Yeah, jeez. What the heck? Too much sunshine here today. Anyway, so you, that is a lot easier. Now, like I said, it's not required, but it certainly makes the difference. You can also go, if you're doing it yourself, you can contact French driving school. Maybe they'll, direct you where you can do it yourself. You can go to the Marie, which is like the town hall, and study online in English. But then, which costs, to take the test, it costs about 30 euros. And that's every time you need to take the test. So just like in the States, if you have to take it more than once, you got to pay a fee. And that's about $30, or 30 euros, excuse me. Let's see, if you're going to go to driving school, they'll provide English study material and explanations, and it's probably the path of least resistance to take, because there is a fee for all that, of course, but you already have experience. They don't have to teach you how to drive. Now, here's a caveat. 80% of the cars here in France are manual transmission. So that means if you take a test in an automatic, you can only drive an automatic. So if your car that you happen to have is a manual transmission meaning you have to shift the gears, you have to take a test in that. And everybody drives that. So, it's just a matter of doing it and getting used to doing it, and it's not a big deal. Even Catherine learned how to do it when she was 18 years old. All right.
19. I think it was 19.
19, okay. So everybody knows what it's like to drive in a car in a manual when you're on a hill.
Yeah. That's the
And
scariest
there's
thing.
cars a whole bunch behind you, and that's a real, that puts hair on your chest.
Yeah, that's not fun.
Yeah, so so anyway, they also help you with a translation if you need to. The driving test itself, if you're not doing it through the school, which you can do, which is another reason to do it through a school, the instructor, your tester, is going to speak French, and so you got to know what he says. Turn left, turn right, go here,
Right.
go there, stop, back up. Go to the roundabout, turn around. You gotta know that stuff. So,
And even if you have a basic knowledge of the French language, when you're under pressure like that and you're a little stressed, trying to understand what he's saying, because each region has different accents, and just like in the United States. And so kind of consider that when you're deciding, what you need to do and how much French you need to know before you take that test.
right. There are no really testing centers like DMVs like we're used to in the States. And so you've got to find your way around. And probably the the testing is done through there are locations, but it's not like the DMV. And you don't don't go in and an hour and a half later you've got a license in your pocket. They got to mail it to you and give it to you, so it could take a little while.
Sorry, I'm looking off camera because I think there's a bee buzzing around here.
There's a spider. I can't tell that shadow. So anyway, so we may all of a sudden be stopping.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying all this to discourage you in any way, but just knowing what to expect, and that's half the battle. As we said, we've not gone this route yet. We haven't needed to. But there are, specific nuances that are going to be there for you specifically. I think that's a spider. Anyway, so it is what it is, and so just go for it. And bureaucracy in France is a game.
Yeah.
Everybody plays it.
It's a national pastime.
Yeah,
for sure. You think things are hard to get through in the United States. Times that by at least 5 to 10, and that's how it works in France.
Yeah,
but it's fine.
But everybody likes that.
Yeah. So anyway, we just thought you might want that information about getting a driver's license. Also, we wanted to mention that we did buy a car. We've mentioned that before, and we were able to obtain car insurance, no problem, with our United States driver's license. So for the first year, you're not going to have a problem, driving or getting a license. And then also wanted to again mention that if you're not living in a small town, if you're going to be living in the larger cities like Paris, Nice, there's Toulouse, public transportation is right there for you. So it may not be something you even need to think about, but it's there for you if you need it.
There you go.
Anyway.
All right, well, it's a beautiful sunny day. We're going to go for a walk around the lake, and we will talk to you again real soon.
A bientôt.
A bientôt.